If the cost of your housing is included within your pay, you need to do the calculations and figure out how much you're really making an hour. That 27 an hour is gonna be more like 19 an hour. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, my name is India. So nice to meet you. For those that are returning, it's so good to see you again. So today's video was supposed to be a part of the resume and cover letter video, but I realized I had so much information on that, so I separated them. So today's video is on internships and interviewing. I'm gonna give you guys some tips, some tricks, to do, not to do, resources, all the above. And there isn't really a specific order, so I'm dropping gems throughout the video. Make sure you watch the whole thing to get the best out of the experience. And I'm also gonna be looking at my phone, so if I'm looking down, my apologies. But let's get straight into it. So I guess I should talk about my internships first. So I was lucky enough, well, I don't wanna say luck, because in SBI, I'm not an SBI anymore, but you learn that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I was prepared and I had an opportunity to intern at Steelcase as an order fulfillment intern after my freshman year. So usually people don't start looking, like it's very hard to get an internship after your freshman year, even after your sophomore year too sometimes, because a lot of people are looking for juniors and seniors because they're looking for people that they can, you know, go into employment. So a lot of the times opportunities for freshmen and sophomores aren't internships completely. They're more so like programs that will lead you into an internship, but I had an actual internship, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, I had the opportunity to intern with Steelcase. Absolutely hated what I did as an order fulfillment intern, but I absolutely loved my experience as an intern for Steelcase. That is 100% an amazing company. I totally recommend anyone look into the opportunities that they have there. They have literally everything from STEM, you know, engineering, design, just look into it. Like, they got everything: finance, supply chain, human resources, law. Like, they have everything at Steelcase. So definitely look into it if you can. But yeah, so I pretty much hated what I did as an order fulfillment intern. And one of the reasons was because I wasn't able to apply for marketing or communications because of my year. So because I was a first year student, the only internship that was open to first year students was order fulfillment. And order fulfillment was within the operations and supply chain industry. Not really, it didn't pique my interest, but I decided, based off of my other offers, Steelcase was the best offer that I had, just holistically. And I was willing to, you know, go there for the experience, even if I didn't particularly enjoy what I was doing. Like, I knew ahead of time that I wasn't gonna enjoy what the job was, but I was still willing to go just to get that experience. And I 100% recommend, if your option is to do an internship that you don't think you would like, or not do one at all, or, you know, go for a different internship that isn't as well, I don't know, but like you're not really interested in the other companies that gave you an offer, I would wholeheartedly suggest that you go and do that internship that you aren't as interested in as far as your position, but you agree with the company and you think that you will have a good experience. That's exactly what I did. So yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I was able to network, so I had coffee chats with people from the marketing communications. Like, y'all, I was networking when I was at Steelcase. I was having meetings with people in marketing communications all the time, just getting to learn what they do, kind of their experience, you know, what they did in college and stuff like that, just to kind of prepare myself, because that's the industry that I was interested in. And then also letting them know, like, hey, if you ever have any projects that you need help on, I would love to help out. So it's like, even though I wasn't a marketing communications intern, I was still very well acquainted with the people within that department. And then I was also able to jump on projects within that realm. So like, I was helping organize and record and edit an intern video. That's more so of something I'm interested in versus like what I did within order fulfillment. So yeah, I was able to jump on projects, and then I was able to network, and I was surrounded by amazing people and an amazing team, y'all. The people at Steelcase are absolutely amazing. I can't put that into words enough. Make sure you watch my Steelcase vlogs. I do have vlogs there. I moved to Michigan. But yeah. But yeah, with Steelcase, I wasn't able to apply outside of order fulfillment because of my year. So that's the only reason why I did order fulfillment, and that's the only reason why I was in a department that I knew I didn't like. But the experience made up for all of that, as far as the people that I met, things that I learned, and just getting out of my comfort zone, moving to a state across. Y'all ain't never been to Michigan. Never been to Michigan. Moving across the country for an entire summer, being surrounded by people that I don't know, not having any family, not having my car, like, it totally put me outside of my comfort zone. But I realized within those experiences, that's literally when you grow the most and when you learn the most. I learned so much, I grew so much, and I had a time. We was in Chicago, we was in Detroit, we was going to beaches. That's its own story. Don't go to beaches in Michigan. Don't go to them beaches in Michigan, y'all. Don't ever go. But yeah, I had such an amazing time that summer. I grew so much. I ended up continuing working with Steelcase as a brand ambassador following that summer. And then the only reason I didn't go back to Steelcase is because I had got another offer, which I'm about to talk about. And I've been with that company ever since. Like, I was interviewing for my current internship while I was still at Steelcase, and my current internship is year-round and it's virtual, and you can't beat that. So, and I love what I do now. So that's the only reason why I didn't go back to Steelcase, because I was speaking with them even this year. Like, Steelcase loves me, y'all, and I love Steelcase. I know that I have a home at Steelcase, which is great. So that's what you want to, like, you want to be able to build those types of connections where you know you have a home. I know if I ever wanted to apply to Steelcase again, or if I ever wanted to look at Steelcase for post-grad opportunities, that I have a home. I know I have a home at Steelcase, and that's something that you don't find everywhere. Like, even though I haven't worked at Steelcase since the end of my freshman year, I know I still have a home. That's how you know you have a connection and that you've built a relationship with people and a company that's worthwhile. So that's Steelcase. So yeah, I was interviewing. I kind of went off a little bit. I was interviewing for positions within marketing communications, but the interview process was they were dragging it out a little bit too long, and my current internship scooped me up before they could. So that's the only reason why I didn't go back to Steelcase. I think my interview kept getting pushed back because they were in between management. So they kept pushing my interview back, and by the time they reached back out to, like, finally schedule it again, I had already accepted my current position. So going to my current position, I currently work for Cal USA. So that's the company that makes Jergens, John Frieda, Bio Oil, Biore. That's the company. And so I work for their brand called Wakati and My Cure. I started off just working on Wakati, and then after a year, I got a raise and a promotion, and my role expanded to also work on My Cure as well. And so I'll kind of get into the story. I'll just briefly touch over it because that's one of the talking points. But basically, I did a case competition. For those that don't know, Wakati is the hair care company that was started in part by FAMU. And so they did a presentation. Well, not Wakati, but like my professor did a presentation about the case competitions that SBI does every year. Wakati was one of them. Everybody knows I have my own hair care company, so everyone saw that when they literally all looked at me, and I was like, wow, like, maybe I should do this case competition. I ended up competing. I ended up getting first place, and I had reached out to them and let them know that I was interested in any internship opportunities that they had, and then they reached out to me, or actually, I think I reached out to the current intern. I didn't know she was the current intern. I thought she was the manager. But she had reached back out to me when she was graduating. She was like, hey, like, I'm graduating. My position's gonna be open. Definitely apply. I ended up applying, and I was interviewing while I was at Steelcase. Like, literally, I was on my lunch break at Steelcase interviewing for Wakati. And I ended up getting the position. The position was supposed to start the same time as my Steelcase internship, but Wakati loved me so much that they were willing to postpone the start of my internship to the fall instead of the summer. so that I could finish my internship with Stillcase and, you know, start with them. That's also another sign of like, you'll know when a company is for you. And both Stillcase and Wakati, like, I love those teams so much. And so yeah, so I was a marketing intern for Wakati when I first started out. Absolutely loved it because I get to see what I do for my brand on a daily basis at a much larger scale. So I have my own hair care brand and I'm working for a hair care brand, and I'm able to utilize my experience within both to benefit the other, if that makes sense. So like some things that I've noticed within like designing my own website or how I market my business, I'm able to apply that to Wakati. And then things that I learned from Wakati, I'm able to apply to my business. In a non-conflicting way. So like my business and Wakati, like we're never competing. It's never like me taking anything that's confidential from Wakati and applying it to my brand. It's more so taking experience of, hey, Wakati markets this way, or this is how Wakati organizes its influencer marketing. Let me try that, like stuff like that. So I'm able to kind of go between both and apply different learnings from each to the other, which is very beneficial. And y'all, I love it here. I love it here so much. Like this internship is so me, and that's literally what everyone says, like it's so me. But yeah, so after 1 year, so I started August 2022, so this was like summer 2023, so it's almost been a year. I got the opportunity to expand my role because there was another brand whose brand manager was hopping on another brand. So that position was vacant, and my manager's manager was like, what about India? So I was basically assuming the position of a brand manager, which is the same position that my manager has for a different brand. And the brand is called My Cure. So I was basically kind of assuming that position and taking over the responsibilities for that position during the summer of 2023. Yeah, summer of 2023, I was taking over those responsibilities until they were able to find someone to assume that position full time. Because of course, when fall comes, I'm a student, so I have to go back to school and go back working part-time. So I was able to assume that position for the summer of 2023, and then I was able to train the current brand manager, which is literally all just adding to my resume, adding more experience to my resume. So now I work on both brands, but of course part-time, even though hour-wise I still be clocking in like about 30 some hours every week. But this opportunity, this internship, I don't even consider it an internship. I consider it a job. Like an internship is a job, but like I don't even look at it as I'm the intern, because of how much like my responsibilities within both of those brands is very massive. So I love it very much because it's very flexible. Like they're headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio. I will never move to Cincinnati, Ohio, but I have the ability to work for this company from wherever I want. So I can work from Tallahassee, I can work from Atlanta. And then even now, like my manager, she used to live in Cincinnati and work there, but then once COVID happened, now she lives in Atlanta. So I have the opportunity to, you know, work at this company from Atlanta if I want to. So I absolutely love it. And then the hours are very flexible because it's online. I can build my schedule. Like I just love it so much. So yeah, I love me some Wakati, love me some My Cure, love me some cow. But yeah, so I know like when I graduate, I have a home here too. So it's like these two companies, I've only had 2 internships, but I've been with those internships for a minute. Like I went to Stillcase for the summer, then I worked for Stillcase for an entire year after that summer, and then I was working for Wakati at the same time. But I've been working for Wakati going on 2 years now. So it's like by the time I graduate, I would have been with Wakati for 3+ years. So I know I have a home at Wakati, and I know I have a home at Stillcase because I'm still in communication with the Stillcase family. I literally just had dinner with them. They came to Family's Campus. I had dinner with them a couple months, maybe like a month and a half ago. It's like I know I have a home for both. Now, this part was not supposed to be this long, so I'm gonna get to the nitty gritty, the stuff that y'all, you know, wanna hear. So, interviewing tips. So when you're interviewing, well, actually, let me start with places to find internships. So, career fairs. FAMU has a career fair every spring, every fall. And then I think each individual college may have their own. So like I know SJGC, we had a career fair a couple weeks ago. I think the engineering school has its own. So like each school may have its individual one, but the big one is the one that'll be in Al Lawson. Now a lot of the positions are tailored towards like SBI, education, government, STEM. So there's not a lot of like PR communications positions. So you kind of just have to, you know, look and see, case by case, but definitely attend career fairs. Please attend career fairs. Online, so Indeed.com, look up internships, go to any website that's similar, and they should have internship opportunities that you can apply for. Also, Handshake is an application that you'll be acquainted with when you get to FAMU, especially if you're in SBI. Those have internship opportunities on there all the time. Networking, so networking with professors. Like I had a professor in SJGC who put me on with someone that was looking for a PR intern for their company. Now I wasn't interested, but you know, professors will recommend students that they think are fit for positions. They know alumni who are looking for opportunities. If you're an SJGC student, definitely grads are back. That's the time to grab you an internship. There's tons of alumni coming back to FAMU and hosting panels talking about their career. A lot of the times those alumni are looking for, a lot of times those alumni are looking for interns for their companies, or they know someone who is. So just networking with professors and alumni or people within your field, that's an easy way to get an internship. On-campus pop-ups. This is literally how I got my internship with Steelcase. Steelcase was sitting outside of SBI. Never heard of them before, but I just went up to their table and talked to them, and boom, got an internship. Campus resources. So FAMU will send internship emails all the time. SBI, I know SBI did it when I was an SBI student, and SJGC does the same thing. They'll send a whole bunch of emails to us, or Canvas Blast, talking about internships that are available or stuff like that. So pay attention to those. If you're interested, apply. Case competitions. This is how I got my Wakati internship. I competed in a case competition. I was like, I'm interested in this company. I reached out to them. They reached back out to me. Now I have an internship, and they only have one intern, so I've been their intern for the past 2 years. Also conferences. So a lot of organizations, so if you think of like any business organizations or any communications or journalism organizations, a lot of times they will attend conferences. During those conferences, there are opportunities for you to network with people that are looking for interns. So attend those conferences. A lot of people don't think to attend conferences, but that's literally how you network to find internship opportunities. So yeah, those are some tips on places to find internships. And my biggest tip, I'll just go ahead and give my tip now. If you can find an internship that is virtual and year-round, do it. Do it. So basically what I'm doing with Wakati right now. And the benefits of this is you're getting work experience. So I literally have almost 2 years of work experience with Wakati. My role evolved not even a year after I started with them. So I went from being a marketing intern to being a digital communications and brand management intern. So it's like my work experience is gradually like, not even gradually, my internship experience is literally through the roof. Like if you look at my resume, my resume is massive, y'all. So you're literally getting valuable work experience by having a year-round internship as a job. Then you're having the same job for a long time. So a lot of the times jobs want to see consistency. So they might not want to see you jumping from internship to internship every year. Now that's fine, you know, if you're getting different, like maybe you do communications here, you do marketing here just to get that experience. But jobs like to see you working at the same place for a long time because it shows consistency and it shows that you were valuable enough to the company to still work there, but also that you saw value in that company and you enjoyed doing, or maybe not enjoyed, but you did your job well, essentially. Then also you get a better connection with the company for post-grad opportunities. Like I said, I know I have a home at Steelcase and I know I have a home at Wakati because I've worked with them for so long, because I built a great connection with them during my first initial internship that they wanted to continue working with me. And from there, I built a relationship with those companies to where I know if I needed to apply for an internship with them, or not internship, if I wanted to apply for a post-grad opportunity with them, I know I have a home at those companies. Then another pro of this is that it's higher pay than regular jobs. So if you think about a lot of students, you know, when they come to college, some students don't work, but some students have to work when they come to college. These internship opportunities are more than likely going to be higher paying opportunities than if you get a job at a restaurant or a retail store, or if you have a work study job on campus. These opportunities are going to pay you more because you're getting internship pay, and then you're also getting that experience as well. And then with that, you have a flexible schedule during the school year. So this may not be the same for all companies, but I know for me, during the summer, I work full-time for Wakati. During the spring and fall semesters, I work part-time. With that part-time schedule, I can choose when I want to work. So if I want to work 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., if I want to work 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., or I can work when I want to work. And then with that, it's give or take a couple meetings that I may have throughout the day. But it's very flexible, so I can adjust it to my school schedule versus having to go into a job from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and work at a location. I can work from my room. I can work from the library. I can work from a coffee shop. So it's a lot more flexible in that sense. So I definitely recommend looking into those opportunities after the summer, or see if there's a co-op program with whoever you did your internship program with. See if there's a co-op program where you can work during the school year online for that same company, because it's allowing you to extend, you know, the length of your stay at that company, build a better relationship with them, and have a part-time job that's flexible and that can work around your school schedule. So now getting into internship or do I want to do process tips or, okay, interviewing tips. Well, no, I'm already talking about internship, so let's just talk about internship. Y'all, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. Okay. So internship process tips. Have a LinkedIn. Now, I'm still working on this because I'm not active on my LinkedIn at all. I need to work on it, but I have not posted on my LinkedIn in a minute. Next tip, follow up with people. Please follow up with people, because that's how you become memorable. So whether you spoke with someone and you're sending them a message on LinkedIn saying, hey, it was nice speaking with you, or if you did an interview, emailing that person saying, hey, I look forward to hearing from you, or if you spoke with someone and they told you to reach out, make sure you reach out. Just making sure you follow up with people, because people are busy, so people don't remember everything, but you're in control of your destiny. So if you want it, reach out, follow up, go get it. Next tip, understand that recruiters are there to recruit. I tell this to people a lot. So I think for me, I've seen the behind the scenes because I've worked with the talent. I worked with the talent acquisition team for Steelcase. The recruiter's job is to recruit. So when you're going to these career fairs, you're speaking with recruiters. You're not speaking with managers over finance departments and stuff. Like, more than likely you're speaking to a recruiter, which means their sole job is to sell to you their company. They want you to come work for them. So in a sense, I would hope that this would calm a lot of people's nerves, because a lot of people get really nervous during networking mixers or career fairs because they're like, oh my gosh, it feels like an interview. Y'all, those are recruiters. And this is not me down talking recruiters, because I would love to be a recruiter. But my point is that they are there to make you interested in their company. They are not the ones that are going to be hiring you. They can, you know, give you a recommendation, so they can say, hey, like, I met this person and I had a great conversation with them. I think they would be great for this position. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones that are in control of hiring you. That would be the manager. So for example, when I spoke with the talent acquisition team at Steelcase that were sitting outside of SBI, they were helping me with my application process, and they were the ones that made me interested in Steelcase. But when it came time for me to interview, none of them were in my interview. And when it came time for the hiring, they didn't hire me. They didn't send me my well, they may have sent me my offer letter, but like, they're not the ones that are doing the hiring. They're not the ones that are doing the interviewing. They're the ones that are, their job is to go out and find students and make students interested in their company and get as many students to apply to their company as they can. So just try and think of it that way when you're going to career fairs, so that you're not as, you know, oh my God, this interview, I need to get hired. Oh my God, oh my God. Their job is literally to collect resumes, to make people interested in their company, get as many people to apply. So in that sense, build a good relationship with the talent acquisition people, but don't be intimidated by them. So yes, their job is to make you interested in their company, but still be sure to present yourself well, because if you're memorable, they can easily say, hey, like, I met this person at this career fair. They really stood out to me. I think they would be perfect. And that might be the difference between you getting an interview and you being in the rejection pile. So still build, you know, make sure you present yourself well and build a good relationship with them, but don't be as intimidated, because they're not the ones that are, you know, over you being hired for real. So yeah, don't be nervous. Next tip, understand that you don't have to accept your first offer. So a lot of people, they get their first offer and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna accept, like, yes, I want it. No, continue looking so that you have options, because when you have options, you can negotiate. And that brings me to my next point, which is always negotiate. So a lot of the times when people give you your first offer, it's gonna be on the lower end of the spectrum. Negotiate. You have nothing to lose. If you need to learn how to negotiate, look up a YouTube video, how to negotiate a salary, how to negotiate an internship offer. If they want you that bad, and especially if they see that you have a whole bunch of other offers, they're gonna wanna be competitive. So they're gonna increase their price. I promise you. And in the case that they can't increase their price, that's just something to take note of, and continue interviewing with other companies until you find a company that you believe reflects your values and you believe is paying you your worth. Next, always read what you sign. So whatever you're signing, whatever contract you have, most of the time contracts aren't binding, which this kind of leads into my next point. You can always rescind an offer if you want to. So you can accept and then realize you don't want to go there and then rescind your offer. You can do that. But make sure you're reading your contract in case there might be something stated in the contract that doesn't allow you to do that. I don't think companies are allowed to do that, but still just make sure you're reading what you're signing. Make sure you understand what you're agreeing to before you sign. And then, like I said, you can always rescind your offer. So say you sign on with a company and then you interview for another company, or you're waiting for a decision and you got it, you can send that company email saying, hey, da, 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 and then accept the other offer. Next, don't get excited about a wage within the 20s. So this might be the first time you're seeing $26 an hour. Don't get excited about it, because you need to weigh in the cost of living. Which brings in my next point. Always inquire whether a company will provide relocation, transportation, or housing stipends. This means, do you have to find and pay for a place to live, and will they pay for your relocation and travel fees? So I don't have this with Wakati because I'm a virtual intern, but for Steelcase paid for my plane ticket to and from when I was traveling there and coming back. They paid for my travel fees, so my plane ticket, the cost of my luggage, they paid for it. While I was living there, I received a housing stipend that covered my cost of living to stay at a local university. You need to figure out whether the company is going to pay for your travel to that new, like in the case that you're relocating far, are they going to pay for your gas money? Are they going to pay for your plane ticket and your luggage? Do they have housing for their interns? So a lot of the times companies will house their interns at a local university. Do you have a local university that I can stay at? Or am I in charge of finding an actual apartment to live at? Are you providing a housing stipend, or is the cost of housing included within my pay? If the cost of your housing is included within your pay, you need to do the calculations and figure out how much you're really making an hour. Because say I stay in New York and they're paying me $27 an hour, oh my goodness. But they don't have a place for their interns to stay. So now you have to find a real apartment to stay in. and you have to pay rent and you have to pay groceries, that 27 an hour is gonna be more like 19 an hour. So just make sure you're doing the math and make sure you're asking the questions regarding relocation, travel, transportation, and housing fees. And then with that, do they have transportation options? So like in the case of New York, for travel, okay, you have to take the train. Or for still case, there is no train. So how am I getting the still case? Am I carpooling? Am I riding the bus? Like, do they have a method for their interns to get to and from work? Those are questions that you want to make sure that you're asking. My camera is about to die and I'm really gonna cry because I gotta go back to Tallahassee, y'all. Next point. Oh yeah, always ask about transportation to and from work if you are moving states, if you don't have a car. Just said that. And then the last one is that most companies are hybrid these days, so ask about that. Can you work from home 2 days a week? Can you work from home 1 day a week? Do you have to come in? So those are the types of questions, depending on what you prefer. I prefer a hybrid lifestyle because I'm not trying to be in an office 5 days a week. But those are also questions that you want to ask. Now, moving on to interviewing tips. First tip, make sure you research the company. So you need to know their competitors, any recent or major press they've had, whether good or bad. Know who their CEO is, know who, or like the major management, so like who is like the day-to-day management. Know the things that they're winning at, so the things that the company is good at or that they're dominating in, as well as points of improvement for that company. Things that are trending within the industry, and know the department that you're applying for and how you could innovate what's taking place. So for example, if I'm working in supply chain, know, okay, what could they do better within their supply chain department? How could I improve? What ideas do I have to improve their supply chain department? Those are things that you want to know before you hop into an interview. Next, you want to be able to apply your skills to the role you're applying for. So you want to be able to have transferable skills and experiences to whatever you're applying for, and be prepared to share a story or two relating to the industry or that department. So for example, when I was interviewing for Stillcase, my job was within supply chain and operations. So I had to give examples of a time, like one of the questions they asked me was to talk about a time where I experienced supply chain delays and how I fixed it. So I was talking about my business when COVID started and how I was like my suppliers and all that stuff. So be able to tell a story about something that you did that's similar to what they do on a daily basis and how you were able to fix a situation or how you went about going about a situation. Next, don't be afraid of numbers. I once did an interview with 8 people. It was via Zoom, but by the end of that interview, they all loved me. All 8 of them loved me. So don't be afraid about numbers. Sometimes you will be in an interview with 5 people, with 10 people. It's gonna take time for you to get to a position where, you know, you aren't as nervous, but don't be afraid of numbers. A lot of the times they might put people in there to intimidate you, and half of the people in there might only, the most they can do is just give a comment on what they thought about you, but they don't really have the final say as far as will you be hired or not. So don't be intimidated by numbers. I know that's harder, you know, said than done, but I've been there. Sorry y'all, my camera died. But I think the last point I was going over is don't take anything personal. You can't read everybody. So some people are personable when they're interviewing people. Some people have a straight face and you can't tell whether or not it's going good or bad. Some people, like, you just don't know. So don't ever take anything personal. Yeah, some people you just won't be able to read. You can't tell whether you did good or bad. Some people you'll be able to tell. It's the luck of the draw. So just don't take anything personal. But with that, this leads me to my next point, which is, to me, one of the most important, which is that interviews go both ways. You should be getting a feel for them as much as they're getting a feel for you. So me personally, if I'm in an interview and somebody rubs me the wrong way, or I feel as though I'm being disrespected, I automatically don't want to work for this company or this organization at all. Like, I have zero tolerance for disrespect, or if I feel like the values of the company and organization does not align with my values as I'm interviewing, I automatically know that I no longer wish to continue moving forward in the interview process. I'm done, like point blank, period, no questions asked. I'm removing myself. So just know when you're interviewing that it goes both ways. You should be getting a feel for them as much as they're getting a feel for you. Can you see yourself working within that company or organization? Can you see yourself working with the person that is interviewing you? So you should be getting a feel for that company just as much as they are for you, because I promise you, you don't want to, y'all probably already know this, you don't want to work for a company that you don't want to work for. Like, can you see yourself working for this company? Does the work culture, does the diversity, does that reflect the values that you have? So just make sure that as you're interviewing, that you're interviewing the companies and the people that are in the room just as much as they're interviewing you. Now, you don't have to do that externally. Like, you don't got to start asking them all about their business, but just keep note of whether or not you could see yourself working for this company. Next point, always have a resume, cover letter, and notebook on hand. You should be taking notes with any important info or follow-ups as needed, but with that, don't depend on the notebook too much. You want to be able to engage in the conversation. So you want to be able to take notes if needed, but you don't want to be looking at pen and paper writing while they're talking to you. You should be engaging in the conversation, making sure you're having eye contact, making sure that you're engaging in the conversation. But you always want to have a resume and a cover letter on hand, as well as a notebook just in case. Yeah, so that's just a rule of thumb. Always have that when you're going into an interview. Even if they already have it, always have it on hand. Next, always have questions prepared ahead of time. Never go into an interview without questions. You don't even, like, some questions you can come up with as you're engaging in the conversation, but it's easy to come up. Like, I have questions in my head that I know, like, if I go on an interview today and I didn't prepare for it at all, I have at least 3 questions that I can ask. So I put some examples, but you can look up questions, but like some examples of questions that you could ask are about major challenges within the company, any pre-COVID or post-COVID things, like how was your company before COVID, how was it after, as far as the work culture, as far as any hybrid work scheduling, as far as supply chain, as far as innovation. So just asking the differences of the company, or any improvements, or any improvements or areas for improvement before and post-COVID. That's easy. Then major challenges and expected timeline decision. That's usually the last question that you'll ask. I personally never ask about pay. I usually leave that for when I've been accepted, but that's totally a feasible question to ask. You can ask them about what their ideal candidate is. You can ask the interviewer why they enjoy working for the company, how long they've been there. I'm sure they probably talked about that when they gave their introduction, but you can ask them why they enjoy working for the company. You can ask them about whether or not they have hybrid working. You can ask them about the work life culture, stuff like that. Next, to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. Nothing else needs to be said. That's pretty straightforward. Next, follow up with the interviewers and thank them for their time. Let them know you look forward to hearing from them. Yeah, you can send them an email. You can message them on LinkedIn. I would personally just do it via email. Just thank them for their time and tell them that you look forward to hearing from them. You can do that maybe like a couple days after your interview, or you could do it right after your interview. Either or, but you want to be top of their mind. So definitely be sure to follow up following your interview. And then the last thing that I have is just be sure that you greet them when you're entering and thank them upon leaving. You don't gotta shake nobody's hand. Like, don't let nobody tell you that you have to shake somebody's hand. If I don't want to touch your hand, I'm not touching your hand. So if you want to give them a little elbow, or if you just want to walk in and greet them, that's totally up to you. You know, after COVID, we not trying to do all of that, the firm hand grip, all that. We're not trying to do all that. So If you want to shake their hand, shake their hand. If you don't. But always make sure that you greet whoever it is that is interviewing you upon walking in, and then make sure you thank them before leaving. So never just walk out. Make sure you say thank you, I look forward to hearing from you, and then follow up. Or like when you walk in, good morning, how are you? Shake their hand if you want to shake their hand. If not, whatever. But yeah, so those are all the interviewing tips I have. I spoke about interviews after I did internships, but I kind of feel like I should do internships last. So I might rearrange the video. Y'all know I'm all over the place. But I hope you guys like this video. Time for me to drive back to Tallahassee. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Let me know if there's any videos, video suggestions y'all have, or if y'all have any questions, just leave a comment. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next video.